What's up, y'all? This is Brave, and I'm back for another review of 11 Hip Hop Atlanta. This is Season 11, Episode 19, and the episode is titled, I Can't Believe It. Let's jump right into the review. So, first things first, we actually have Spice and her children, as well as Sierra, her son Mason, and Shekinah. They are playing mini golf. Now, I'm completely shocked that Spice's kids are here because y'all know she loved to send them right on back home to Jamaica. But I think they were on summer break, so that's why she has the kids. Now, y'all, one thing that I want to point out is the fact that I could have swore just on the first half of this season, Sierra and Spice was not cool like that. Or am I tripping? Weren't they getting into it because of the whole Erica situation? I guess since Erica has gotten kicked off, they have deaded their beef, and Sierra and Spice are cool. Another thing, Shekinah, we can see your scars, so you might want to cover that up. Now, y'all, I feel like Spice is doing some cleanup when it comes to her kids, because she knows that it was all on the comment section, when they were seeing episodes of the show, when she mentioned how, her kids always go back to Jamaica, right? So, on this episode, she lets the ladies know that her kids will be with her pretty much this whole summer because they're going on tour with her. I said, oh, okay, Spice, you try to clean it up. You try to make it seem like you actually have your kids with you, because you were sounding absolutely crazy when you were making it seem like your kids just stay in Jamaica. They come see you maybe a couple of days out the year, and then they have to fly right back. So at this point, this is when she invites the ladies to Belize. She says it's only going to be Spice, Shekinah, Sierra, and Rennie Rucci. Now, I can't even lie to y'all. I'm not even mad at this smaller group going on a trip. I ain't mad at that. But one thing that I need for these ladies to do is to actually go get some real therapy, get some real counseling, take some accountability for their actions, and stop playing in our face talking about their trauma. I really need for that to happen. There are so many things that these ladies have talked about, and I'm going to go into it as we go further into this episode. Like how Spice is always talking about, oh, my trauma, that's the reason why I'm acting out, blase, blase, blah. Okay, so if you can say that, can you admit that you went too hard on Carly yet? Can you admit that yet? Because you were ready to fight her for no reason. On top of that, even when it comes to Sierra's like, oh, I just lost my grandmother, and I absolutely feel bad for her for that. However, when it comes to her and that Eric situation, girl, you chose that man. I don't know what you want us to do about it, because you keep whining about it. But you know what? Let's go ahead and move on. Y'all, we get to Yanzi and her cousin. So they meet up at this place or whatever. I think they had some tea or something like that. Nonetheless, we got to get to this cousin. This cousin, she lets us know that she basically went to the doctor, found out that she has fibroids. It seems like she's already had a battle with fibroids. There's just more that have shown up. And that means that she would have to have a surgery to have those removed, then have her body heal, and then she would be possibly be able to carry Yandy's eggs and, the whole situation. She doesn't want to do that. So Yandy, in her confessional, she talks about how, this is so devastating for Keisha, the fact that she won't be able to carry her own baby and all of this stuff. Now, I can't lie, when she said that, I had a little Mendices moment, and I was like, well, she wouldn't exactly be carrying her baby. She'll be carrying yours and whoever she's getting this sperm from. Hey, that's the real question. Did Keisha have a man? Because it sounds like Keisha is doing this on her own. And I ain't judging at all, because I know that there are a wave of women nowadays who are having children on their own via sperm donor. But they haven't mentioned that. Like, Yandy has not mentioned anything about a sperm donor or if Keisha has a partner that she plans to have this child with. I wonder if there's going to be a dad around. But nonetheless. Okay, so what is Keisha's new option? She plans on getting a surrogate. There's going to be a surrogate that is involved now. And, it will be Yandy's egg. And I have no idea who has the sperm, but yeah, that's the game plan now. And Yandy is fully committed to supporting Keisha, okay? Again, Yandy, you just threw a whole nother monkey wrench into the situation. So when you go home and you tell your husband about it, you know he gonna judge y'all and have an opinion 10 times worse than the last one, okay? But let's go ahead and move on. So we see the ladies arrive to Belize, minus Spice. And while they're in the car, they talk about how they need some healing and all of this stuff or whatever. And then the conversation takes a turn. And Sierra talks about how she's been married to Eric for 1 year. Okay? And I'm just like, okay, well, how long within that year were y'all together? Because you didn't tell us that you were married to him until you were ready to let him go. And that was at the top of this season. So y'all was only together for what? Probably 6 months? Married? Maybe? On top of that, one thing that Eric did do was support her when her grandmother died. And I honestly commend him for that. Now, I will say that Sierra, she mentioned something that was quite important to me. And that was the fact that she mentioned how Eric made her think that there was something wrong with her parenting. And I'm just, curious, what did he say or what did he do to make you feel that way? But she didn't, go into that. And then she went on to talk about how when the relationship started, this man had already told her that he didn't want to date anybody with kids. I said, dun, dun, dun. Why did you continue the relationship? Why did y'all waste y'all time continuing to date each other, knowing that this woman has kids and you don't even like kids or you don't want, kids around? But I get it. Sierra was definitely a come up for Eric. He got to be on this show. She's very successful. She's popping in these streets. I get it, Eric. But the way that you played with that lady, I'm judging you. Because you knew from day one when you met her, and honestly, you probably already knew information about her because Sierra's popping in Atlanta. So you already knew that this woman had children and you continue to pursue her. That's a problem in itself. And now as for Sierra, girl, if a man ever tell you that he don't want no kids or he don't date women with kids and all of that, believe him and walk away. Now, at one point in this conversation, she kind of pipes up and says that she's ready to date or whatever, and she thinks that it's time for that. And I'm like, okay, yeah, you have been on this show for a couple of seasons, and we never hear about your love life. So it sounds like it was non-existent, and, it is what it is. So I would not mind seeing Shekinah go on a date. Now, here comes Sierra. She's like, oh, I want to date as well. I think it's time for me to start dating, blah, blah, blah. Girl, you're not even divorced yet. Hold your horses, number one. Number two, I've realized Sierra don't know how to be by herself. Sierra has no idea how to be alone. And that is going to bring me to something that they talk about a little bit later. But I realized that Sierra don't know how to be by herself. She's never had to be. And she's just definitely a relationship girly. She has to be in a relationship. She cannot, be by herself. And I honestly feel like she maybe needs to work on that. She may need to take time to get to know who Sierra is outside of Sierra in a relationship. But nonetheless, the ladies continue to talk. The conversation goes into how they like the D, big, small, fat, skinny, all of that. Y'all, let's go ahead and move on. we get Mendeecees. He is standing outside talking to, I guess, a realtor or a construction guy. I have no idea what this man does. But I have a question for y'all. What the hell does Mendeecees do? Because even before he went to jail, I never knew what Mendeecees did. I think that when the show started, they tried to say like he was like a producer or like he worked in the music industry or something like that, if I can recall. But again, what does he do? Because this man, he done went to jail, all of that stuff, and now we about to pretend like he does real estate or something. Since when? But nonetheless, he talking about I'm trying to pre-sell this house before they even like break ground on it. So he has no interest in fixing this house or anything like that. He wants to sell it and basically make his money back. So next thing you know, here comes Yandy with a hard hat on. Ma'am, why do you have a hard hat on? There's no construction going on out here. None. And on top of that, why are you wearing heels in the dirt? Because you knew where you were coming. I'm just giving this whole scene a side eye. So she done set up a little picnic or whatever for them to have. And this way she can discuss the whole situation with Keisha. So she ends up letting Mendeecees know that Keisha can't even carry the baby. Like, she would have to get a surrogate. And how, Yandy and her are sisters, so Yandy wants to be there for her. And I can't lie, Mendeecees brought up some good points. She ain't got nobody else. Keisha ain't got no other cousins that can do this. No? Okay, fine. Then Yandy keeps saying that they're sisters. You guys are not sisters. Y'all are cousins. And let's be clear, y'all don't even look alike, okay? This is not like what's Love and Marriage Huntsville? Kiki and Letitia, they look like they can actually be sisters, even though they're just cousins. Keisha and Yandy don't look nothing alike. And here comes Mendeecees with another good point. Who's paying for this? Because it's one thing for y'all to have to pay for the IVF and all of that, right? But a surrogate, that costs like over $100,000. Yandy, I get it. You have a God complex. You think that you're supposed to be everybody's saving grace, but be so for real. Because last time we checked, according to y'all and your storyline, Keisha worked at your store. How much are you really paying her in wages? So, can she even afford to have a surrogate? And I'm not trying to count nobody coins, but be so for real. Like, you're going to pay $100,000 just for the surrogate at minimum. Plus, I don't even know how much IVF and all that whole process. That may cost like another $50,000. You going to pay $150,000 for your cousin to have all of this happen, right? And I get it. That's dope that you can do that. However, like Mendeecees said, y'all are just putting money all types of places, okay? You have your store, you have your restaurant. I mean, I don't know how much money that's bringing in, but I feel like you just got that, Yandy. You just bought your dad a house. Like, you're spending money like crazy. He can't let Mendeecees sell this property right here first, okay? Because remember, he said he want to sell it in a pre-sale. Let him get that money first. Because you sound like you dishing out more money than you have coming in. So, of course, Yandy has to re-explain to her husband how this means a lot to Keisha. A lot of women, they have to go through this where they cannot conceive a baby naturally, and she just wants to help her. They have never had issues having kids and blah, 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 right? That's cool and all. And the only thing I kept thinking was, well, girl, I really hope that your eggs are good and high quality, because you had your last baby years ago. So it's definitely best that you go get those eggs checked out, Yandy, so that way you can see if you can go through with this process. But let's go ahead and move on, because we have the Belize girls meeting up, having food or whatever. And next thing you know, Spice takes them to like a little school or whatever, so that way she can talk to the kids. Me personally, I found it interesting considering the type of artist that she is. Her lyrics, her dance moves, all of that. For me, I don't need her talking to my child. Because I get it, you're a successful artist. But at the same time, girl, that's like getting Sexy Red up there to talk to some children. Absolutely not. But let's go ahead and move right on along. So now we have Scrappy and Erica. They're on another date. This time they're going on an obstacle course together. And this is happening after they dropped off E-Money at college, right? So they talk about the fact that Mama D, she was on the phone and she was really upset and emotional because I guess she ended up calling Scrappy's other kids with Bambi. But Bambi, you already know, her and Mama D don't get along. She ends up hanging up the phone. Now, according to Erica, she's going on and on about how great of a grandmother Mama D is when it comes to, like, being with the kids. Here's the thing, though, Erica. All because you let your child be around Mama D doesn't mean that Bambi has to. And I get it. The kids need to know both sides of the family. However, Mama D and Bambi do not get along at all. Mama D disrespects Bambi every chance that she gets. So I completely understand why Bambi does not want her children around her. Now, let's go back to the Belize girls. They go to a temple and they see some local shamans, right? So basically, the first shaman ends up blessing Rennie. It says that, I want to bless your career and everything you have going on. Then we get to Shekinah. The person tells Shekinah to continue to be herself. She's on the right path. The person then goes on to tell Spice that she needs to stop stressing herself out. And for Sierra, she needs to be guided and she needs to stop living her life in confusion. Okay? That was pretty much that scene. We're going to slide on over to Yandy and this storyline she got going on. So now we with the doctor, okay? Keisha's there as well as Mendices. The doctor is going over the whole process of the IVF as well as what will happen with like the surrogate and all of that. Here goes Keisha. She's getting super emotional. You have Mendices asking if they can find an egg that looks more like Keisha than Yandy. And I'm like, first of all, Keisha and Yandy have not a one similarity. Maybe they skin complexion. And I could be wrong about that. These two ladies don't look alike at all. So no, they're not going to look like... First of all, you can't even pick eggs that look more like one person or the other. But secondly, they don't look alike at all to begin with. So what are we even talking about? Like, I really cannot. Between Mendices and his mama, I don't know who's slower. Because keep in mind, his mama was trying to see if one of Mendices' eggs was needed for Keisha's baby. Remember that? Baby, let's go ahead and move on. Alright, so we see Scrappy. He's making breakfast. Oh, is it for Erica? No, it's for Diamond. Now, according to him, he's not dating both of these ladies at the same time. He just kind of kicking it with them. Y'all, this thing was about nothing. It was basically just to show us that Scrappy and Diamond, they are connecting and they kicking it. Good for them. Back to the Belize girls. And I know I keep calling them Belize girls just because these four ladies are actually in Belize. So they're in the car and they're talking about, all this trauma that they have. And I think Sierra was the one who started the conversation. And she talks about how some of these ladies, they have trauma because they had kids when they were like 15 years old. And I think she was speaking of herself as well as Rennie. Now, come to find out, Shekinah, she says that, she actually had an abortion around that age. Now, once she said that, Spice kept interrupting her and telling her to be in the moment and talk about it and all this stuff. But Shekinah had a point to say, and I wanted to hear what she had to say. But Spice kept interrupting her to be like, no, you need to feel this. You need to do this. Spice, relax. Nonetheless, I do think that this goes to a larger conversation about Black young girls, their sexuality, especially for our girls that are coming up now. Because when I think of Shekinah, Sierra, and Rennie, I don't think that they are the same ages. However, considering the times that these girls were, teenagers, I would not be surprised if they probably had a lack of proper education on pregnancy prevention, access to birth control, And no, I am not shaming anybody who has had a child when they were a teen. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I do feel like, especially the era that these ladies grew up in, I'm pretty sure that when they had the talk, it probably sounded something like, don't bring home no babies. And that was the whole conversation. Okay? Now, this actually brings me to something that Shekinah said because, she does say that she had an abortion. Her family thought that that was best for her at the time. And, she wanted that baby. Here's the thing. I think that sometimes, even though you're a teenager and you want your child, because that is, that's you. That is a person that's a part of you. Sometimes I don't think that teenagers realize that it takes so much work to be a parent. I mean, like, you're a teenager. Like, you don't know everything in the world. You don't know exactly how life really is, because technically being a teenager, for the most part, you're kind of sheltered from what the real world is really like, especially once you hit those adult years. So I'm pretty sure that Sierra as well as Rennie, they probably had some struggles in their life because they did decide to keep their babies. And I'm not saying that in like a negative way or anything. I'm just saying that being 15 years old, you have to still be in school, trying to figure out, do your homework and all of this stuff while raising a kid. That's a lot. So next thing you know, they end up asking Shekinah if she'd ever been pregnant, another time outside of that. And she was like, yeah, when I was 24, I ended up dropping out of school. It was like a whole thing. Now, the one thing that I did not like about this conversation was, again, how Spice kept trying to force Shekinah to open up. And here's the thing. I don't think Shekinah was ready to open up about this. I really don't. I feel like, she was just going to chime in and say whatever she had to say and maybe keep a little bit of this more bottled up. I don't think she was comfortable saying it in front of the cameras. I just feel like when it comes to people opening up and telling things about themselves, I understand that everyone talks about this healing. We got to heal. We got to heal. We got to talk about it. But here's the problem. If I've kept something bottled up for years, okay, years upon years, and then you have me just break down and talk about it, yeah, I'm going to talk about it to you. I'm going to cry. But then I may still have lingering emotions and feelings that I don't know what to do with. Because, again, y'all not therapists. Y'all don't have no advice on what to do with this, with an overwhelming feeling. You know what I'm saying? And that actually brings me to Rennie. Because Rennie opens up about how she got an abortion 2 weeks before her man went to jail. And the reason why they decided to do that was because he was a part of the decision, was because she had already done this before. She said with her ex, he ended up doing 8 years in prison while she had to be a single mother. Now, you got this new guy, you love him, you're pregnant by him, but he's about to go do a bid in jail. And who knows how long that's going to be. Yeah. Again, here we go. We're laying it all out there on the table, you know what I'm saying? Saying all this stuff that you probably kept bottled up. And next thing you know, Rennie started to feel sick. Rennie, she was getting hot. She was getting the shakes. We also learned that she does have a hole in her kidney, which I'm just like, whoa, I don't even know what that entails, but I really do hope that she can, get whatever proper care that she needs to for that. I just feel like them talking about all of this stuff and bringing up all these emotions, that triggered, her to start getting overwhelmed. It started her to start breathing heavy. It triggered her to, you know what I'm saying, get the shakes. Like, I just felt really bad for Rennie in that moment. So they end up pulling a car over or whatever, and they're told to take Rennie to the ER. Y'all, that was the episode. Let me know what y'all thought about it. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And I will talk to y'all in my next review. Bye, guys.